Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Titan AKT. If you're following us on social media, in this video I'm going to go over my thoughts heading into this week, starting with tomorrow, November 14th, and I'm also going to give you guys two stocks that I am looking to trade heading into this week. Before I get into that, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Really helps out the channel. Let's get right into it. So heading into tomorrow is kind of a mix. All right, so tomorrow I am bearish starting off, and then I believe we're going to get back into our bull run. Now I have to keep in mind that Tuesday morning we do have PPI data, which can affect the market, but I'm not too worried about that. All right, so let's get right into it. Let's look at the SPY. So if we're looking at the SPY daily, we have more upside, okay? And my targets for upside would be 403, 406, 408, 411. All right, right now I'm not looking too far past 411. I think that's where we are going to pretty much slow down at and get our reversal, okay, heading back down into the 300s. All right, now do I believe that the market is not done having a bear run, or is the bearish market just completely over? No, I do not believe that, but for now I have to stick with the charts and be bullish, okay? So for majority of the week, at least the beginning of the week, I am bullish, but starting off tomorrow I would be careful because we could see some bearish movement. So my expectations heading into tomorrow, as far as the SPY goes, I'm looking at this type of move here. All right, zoom out a little bit. I think we're going to get a bounce, and then we're going to head back up. All right, head back up all the way to 411. Okay, that is my target. Okay, so heading into tomorrow, I do expect some type of bounce between 390, 393, and then we head back up. If that doesn't happen and we just go straight up, it's a win regardless, okay? It's a win either way, but so far we haven't been wrong on this channel as far as how the week turns out. We've been pretty much on a nice little streak here, and we want to keep that going, okay? But I'm not going to always be 100% right. Sometimes I'm just early but not wrong, and sometimes I'm just wrong, okay? But most of the time we tend to be right, so I'm not going to try to brag on that, but hey, you know, a win is a win. All right, so right now 390 and 393 are my targets for the downside before we bounce back up. We have to keep in mind that Friday banks were closed, and I imagine once the market is open, or even now, that banks are going to want the market to be cheap so that they can jump back in at a cheaper price and start buying up these stocks. Okay, start buying up stocks, start running the market back up. And this, we have to keep in mind that, hey, just because you're a millionaire, just because you're a billionaire, they are cheap as well. All right, and they want to get in. They want a piece of the pie. Okay, and they want a piece of it while it's cheap. Okay, so I imagine we're going to bounce back down, and it makes sense for us to drop down prior to PPI data, and then we completely run back up. All right, so that is my thoughts as far as the SPY. All right, again, 393, 390 level. Man, we might see just a bounce off 395 and head back up, but I find it hard to imagine that we're going to continue to bounce just straight up, or not bounce, but head straight through 400 and just continue to run. Okay, either way, if we do, that's a bonus as well. All right, so Monday morning bearish, and then I think we're going to continue the bull run, maybe in the evening or maybe after PPI data is released. Okay, I'm not saying PPI data is going to be good, but I believe it's going to be more on the good side than bad side. Okay, now looking at the US Dow, okay, the Dow Jones. Okay, Dow Jones is a little bit different here. All right, we are at a key level on the Dow Jones here. All right, as you guys can see, we are at a nice little key level. We have to keep in mind that the Dow Jones has been carrying the market for a few weeks now. It has completely been running insane, and I do think it's time for the Dow to cool down a bit. Okay, I don't think it's going to be a dramatic move back down, but I do think we're going to see some type of bounce back down where the market cools off. And this is another reason why I am kind of bearish heading into tomorrow morning, and then the Dow Jones starts to pick things back up. All right, while the Dow Jones is slowing down and bounces and coming back down, I do think the Nasdaq is going to kind of start catching up with the Dow Jones. So I think the Dow Jones is coming back down to pick up the Nasdaq, and then the Nasdaq and Dow Jones start to take off together. All right, so my levels for the Dow Jones for now is I'm looking at 33,300, 33,400 range. I do think we could see that tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be a fast move. I think it's just going to be a slow decline. Okay, so at most we may just see some chop tomorrow, if anything, and that makes sense as well heading into the PPI data, where we just see complete chop fest, and tomorrow's just completely boring. Mondays generally are boring, so that could happen as well. So just keep an eye out for that. All right, as far as the Dow Jones go, I'm not looking for much here. We are at a key level. All right, and I think once we get PPI data, we start to break back above into the 34,000 range. Okay, so I don't think the Dow Jones is done running. I just think it's going to cool off heading into tomorrow. All right, so looking at the Nasdaq, I like the Nasdaq. All right, the Nasdaq has so much room to run, right now. I am looking at 12K 100. Okay, 12K 100, and I'm not expecting this move to happen into tomorrow. Again, I think we're just going to mostly either chop, or we're going to see a drop back down, a slow decline down before we head back up into PPI data. All right, so as you guys can see on the daily, looks extremely clean. Again, 12K 100 is going to be my first target, and then at max we could see really close to 13K depending on how this week go. We do have more than PPI data. We have unemployment, we have a few things going on this week, but I think at minimum we see 12K 100 range on the Nasdaq. Now heading into tomorrow, I think the US Dow and the Nasdaq are kind of going to be, they're not going to necessarily move in the same direction. They're more so going to be taking turns, where I think the Dow Jones is just going to go back to pick up the Nasdaq, because the Nasdaq has been lagging behind for the past few weeks, and then we continue to head back up. As you guys can see, we have broken resistance here, and we have nothing but space and opportunity here. All right, as you guys can see here as well, we have a nice bullish engulfing candle on the 4-hour, so I don't think the Nasdaq is necessarily done. If anything, if the Nasdaq does run heading into tomorrow, then most likely it's going to carry the rest of the market with it. All right, am I counting on that? No, but would I be surprised? No. All right, so those are my thoughts heading into tomorrow as far as the Dow Jones go. What did I say last video? I said if we break 11,700, the market is going to continue run. Well, not 11,700, 11,500. The market is going to run to 11,700. We broke 11,700, and my next target will be 12K 100 range. Okay, so be on the lookout for those levels. All right, at most we could see close to 13K. I don't think we're going to break through 13K. That would be crazy if we do, but I don't think that's going to happen. All right, but right now, let's just focus on the short term. All right. So the stocks that I am looking at heading into this week, the first one is Costco. Okay. I am really loving how Costco looks. I love how this chart looks. It is absolutely amazing. Let's get rid of this. Absolutely amazing, guys. This is this is probably the best chart I've seen all year. Okay, all year. I'm most likely not even over exaggerating. Costco looks absolutely amazing. Okay, so one, we broke out of order block. We broke out of our order block on the 4-hour, not the 4 hours. Let's go to the daily. All right, the daily, we have broken out our 4-hour block. We bounced back down to the 20 MA and bounced off the 20 MA, and right now we are breaking above. Okay, my targets for the Costco is 530 short term, and at most I think we could see 560, 580 tops. Okay, but I'm counting on 560. Okay, 560 long, and then for 530 short term. Okay, if we go to the lower time frames, what I would do, all right, what I would like, I'm not going to say do, what I would like, if we do get a bearish move heading into tomorrow on the US Dow, I am going to be looking for some type of bounce towards the 505 range, okay, before we head further up. Okay, that's my thoughts on it. At most, at most, we could see a bounce off the low 500s. Okay, the low 500s, which is right where that gap support is. Let me point that out for you guys. Right where this gap support is. A lot of traders don't realize that gaps are resistance and support. Okay, so just always keep that in mind. Gaps do act. The candle before, or the wick before a gap, or even after a gap, is typically a very strong resistance or support. So a lot of times when you see a gap about to be filled, but it reverses, it's because it's resistance or support. So just a little education right there. All right, but overall, I'm looking at Costco, and I would like to see us head back to the 500s range, low 500s range, before I enter a play. But overall, if you are looking to go long, absolutely beautiful. Okay, even if we look at let's get rid of this. Even looking at the 4 hour. Okay, let's go to the 4 hour. Even looking at the 4 hour, we have a nice, very nice piercing line pattern here. Okay, very nice. Okay, but again, I'm not convinced on this candle. I'm not convinced on this candle right here as of yet. I would like to see a retest down below, a little bit further down for this candle before I am actually convinced. Okay, so I'm not completely convinced right here. All right, I would, again, it may not happen, it could happen. I'm counting on the Dow Jones to make that move that I was talking about earlier, where we see that bounce. As you guys can see, these candles are majority the same size. Okay, the same size. They just keep going up, which I usually take as some sign of a reversal. Okay, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Best thing to do, this is not a financial advice, is that you can average in. You get into one little long contract or whatever, you know, heading into maybe 530, 560, whatever price target you choose. And then if it does drop, if it just so happens to drop down to the low 500s or whatever the case, you just average in. Okay, usually I don't average in on stocks, but I really like this play. I really like how Costco looks right now. All right, next stock that I really like, okay, and I usually don't trade this, is Zoom. Okay, I know it sounds crazy. I trust me, I don't trade Zoom, but the chart is looking extremely well. Okay, very similar to Costco. Not very similar, yeah, very similar to Costco, we'll say that. All right, Zoom just looks really good. All right, and given my thoughts on the NASDAQ and how the NASDAQ is looking as far as pushing for more upside heading into maybe even tomorrow, I think Zoom looks really good. Okay, I think it looks extremely well here. All right, so if we're looking at the daily, guys can see that we are already trying to fill this gap here. Okay, we broke resistance here, and I think we could see Zoom head to the 100s. Okay, 108 at most. I'm looking at 115. Okay, 108 through 115. I think Zoom can make this happen. Okay, so my short-term targets for Zoom is 95. Okay, 95, 100. I don't think 100 is too much to ask for, at least close to 100. And then as far as long go, which isn't really much, okay, is 108 to 115. Okay, so if you want to do like a long contract heading into maybe December or whatever the case may be, you can do one towards those targets. Okay, not financial advice. All right, but yeah, I think Zoom is going to fill up this gap. I think I typically don't trade Zoom. I don't remember the last time I traded Zoom, but it just looks really good. Okay, I don't know what news catalysts or whatever the case may be affect Zoom. I just think the market overall is going to be carrying Zoom even higher. If we look at the lower time frames, Zoom has made a huge move. Okay, it has made a very huge move. All right, so what I would like for Zoom, if we do get that bearish move heading into tomorrow, is a bounce off the 85-80 range. Okay, I would like, at minimum, I'm looking at 83. Okay, I would like that move. Get rid of this, where we see one of these. Okay, we see one of these, Boom, everybody panics because chances are, if Zoom is making this kind of move, chances are NASDAQ is plummeting or dropping, I would say. And then, towards the end of the day, bears get trapped or whatever the case may be because they think it's over, and then we just run heading into PPI data. All right. I think Zoom is going to be very good. Okay. It just looks extremely well. All right. If you need confirmation on why I like Zoom, we broke resistance. We have broken out of an order block here. Nice little momentum here. Nice volume down here. I like Zoom. Okay. I would not worry about these candles here. Obviously, I think it's just a retest. I think it's just a bounce, and then a bounce for a bigger move up. All right. Those are my thoughts on Zoom. All right. So again, I would like a retest of 80, 83 range, at most 85 for a move to 95, 100. At most, I'm looking at 108 to 115. All right. So those are my thoughts on the overall market heading into tomorrow. Those are my two stocks. I'm even going to go over Tesla, okay, because you guys kill me with Tesla. You guys love Tesla, which I don't blame you. We are in a play on Tesla heading into this week, all right? We are in a 200 call. We actually did a trade on Tesla Friday, and we absolutely killed it. We got in at 189, 190 range. I said once the NASDAQ breaks 11,700, Tesla is going to make its move. If you've been paying attention to Tesla, you will notice that it was lagging behind very bad. Okay, very just lagging behind. The market's just going absolutely insane. Everything's going parabolic to the upside, and Tesla is just taking its precious time not doing anything. And I said chances are, I let the group know, I let the Discord know that chances are Tesla is waiting on that 11,700 break. What happened? It broke 11,700, went straight into 190s. We jumped in on that trade, rode it all the way to about 194, 195 range. We're in another trade on Tesla around 194, and I'm looking for a move heading into 200, 203. At most, I'm looking at 230 if I want to go long on Tesla. All right. Wouldn't be surprised if it goes higher. All right. As you guys can see, I mean, look at this. All right. Completely engulfs this candle here. Completely engulfs it. Just devours it. All right. So, I mean, it just looks really good. And I think it's about time Tesla is going to start catching up with the market, just like the NASDAQ needs to catch up with the Dow Jones and everything else. All right. Just looks extremely well. All right. At most, worst case scenario, we get a retest heading into tomorrow where we see a retest of 192, 190, 192. Yeah, 192. At most, we could see at 188 retest, but I wouldn't necessarily panic. All right. I think Tesla just looks absolutely amazing for more upside. Okay. So those are my thoughts heading into the stock market this week. Once again, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let me know if you liked the video. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you want me to go over something. If you want me to go over any particular stock, feel free to comment below. I will do my best to go over that stock. Otherwise, that's all I got, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.